Hello everyone, how are you? This is Rod. Well, today I want to talk a little bit about the coming up Aries full moon, and also coming up week we are going to experience some turbulence. That because the Pluto is going to station direct. So the first coming up the Monday, we will have the Mercury move into Scorpio, and then when Mercury moves to Scorpio, will square the Pluto in Aquarius. This is very interesting. Basically, when we see the next week's planetary movement, there's a lot of Scorpio or Pluto theme there. That make me wonder about, are we going to experience or heard about some, crisis or life-death situation? But to be honest, if you read the news nowadays, nearly every day we look at what happened in Gaza, and if you turn on the news, it's every day about the life and death situation, or misinformation, or untrust, or something. So somehow it makes us already feel that kind of a crisis feeling. But if you think that is scary enough, well, wait and see, because I'm wondering what's going to happen for the next couple of weeks, because these several things align together. I will explain first. I talk about with the Mercury in the moving to Scorpio, and then pay attention especially because Mercury will stay in Scorpio between 6th of October to 29th October, and toward the end of October, when Mercury at the late degree of Scorpio, this is the interesting position, because on Friday I recorded a podcast with my dear friend Marcus, and Monday mentioned about toward the November, when Mercury retrograde, and Mercury will move back to Scorpio by the end of November. I think I also mentioned that in the last week. So that would really remind us what we are doing end of October. Okay, this is still far away. This still have 3 weeks away. I'm sure I will remind you again when I'm talking about astrology toward the end of October. So the first things, Mercury move into Scorpio, and the second thing, the next day on the 7th of October, we will have a full moon happen at 14 degree Aries. Well, it is very interesting full moon. So first, this is one of the 3 super full moon of end of this year. End of this year, we have 3 super full moon. This one on the 7th of October at 14 degree Aries, and then one in the 5th of November, something like that, and then in the mid of Taurus, and another one 13 by the December at the 13th of the Gemini. So these 3 full moon can consider as a super full moon first. Super full moon mean the moon is around the perigee, when moon is very close to the Earth. So usually when we study the moon's distance with the Earth, usually have impact on our behavior, and especially in financial market. So I'm wondering, first, we have Mercury square Uranus on Monday. Mercury moved to Scorpio and square Pluto. Mercury moved to Scorpio and square Pluto. So that one thing. And the second thing, we have a super full moon that usually have a strong impact. So these 2 things together with Pluto stationary, I'm wondering what the financial market going to perform. Usually could be very unusual, could be very volatile. This the one thing I'm sure, especially if you observe the last couple of days, financial market is performing, you will get some idea, because it's a turning point. Okay, it's a turning point, move toward another direction. So this is one thing. Another thing worth us to pay attention about this coming up full moon at the 14 degree Aries is that the only aspect this full moon have is semi-square Uranus. So interesting. This full moon has a little bit of lonely feeling. Why? This moon is at Aries. It's about action, about thinking about yourself. And that moment, the sun is at 14 degree Libra, and focus on between us and the other people. You are thinking about between yourself and other people. You are thinking about how to make things more smoothly, more harmony. But your emotion, your inside inner self is ask, how about me? Who take care of me? Well, you have to take care about yourself. So this is somehow when this semi-square, moon semi-square Uranus can make some people suddenly change their attitude or cut off from the relationship, or suddenly just like disconnected, say, I'm not going to, I'm not going to cope this anymore. So emotionally, we maybe have a sudden change with this coming up full moon. And this is not only configuration support me to say that. Another thing is about the fixed stars. This full moon at 14 degree Aries align with a fixed star called Alpheus. Alpheus is the head of Andromeda, the head of Andromeda. Usually the stars at the Andromeda constellation are usually very feminine and very harmony. Usually have that Venetian flavor. But this, interestingly, when the astrologer who study the fixed stars talking about Alpheus, usually have a very distinguished meaning that about independent and the freedom. Set yourself free. And also because we are more associated stars with Pegasus rather than, because it's one of the square of Pegasus. So it's about the flying, it's about set yourself free, free your mind. So it would be quite interesting because in the mythology, Pegasus was born when the Perseus cut off the head of Gorgon, Medusa. So think again. Medusa causes panic. Medusa causes scary, make us scared. But when the Perseus cut off the head of Medusa, the flying horse Pegasus jump out with inspiration. Okay, so with that panic or our scared or something, when we remove them, our mind being set free, so we can have more new idea. This Pegasus, this Alpheus maybe can bring us some new idea if you don't limit yourself. So this is the basic my interpretation of this coming up full moon. Be yourself, be brave, and don't limit yourself. Do whatever you like, and don't let your past limit you. Okay, that Alpheus is allowed you to, be free and to be independent. So if you want to do something, but your friend is not going together with you, okay, prepare yourself, be brave, and you have to act it out on yourself. So this is the first thing. Another thing that I already mentioned is between the 6th of October to the 22nd of October, Pluto will appear stations direct. Well, basically, Pluto is going to turn direction, I think, basically around the next Sunday or next Monday or next Tuesday, depend where you are. Okay, 13th of October or 14th October. But if we look the planetary movement, it changed the direction, it turned direction at 1 degree Aquarius 22 minutes, which the Pluto will arrive at this degree tomorrow on 6th of October. That means from tomorrow we can consider Pluto is already stationary, okay, at 1 degree 22 minutes. So between tomorrow to 22nd of the October, we can consider this long period of Pluto stations. Well, some astrologer will have different point of view because I think different astrology usually have different way to measure this so-called stationary period. Some people will just take 1 day before change direction and 1 day after change direction as a station period. Well, I quite like calculate like this for inner planet such as Mercury, and Venus, and sometime Mars too. I will calculate their degree. I'll calculate their degree because they move faster. And from Jupiter to all the outer planet to the Pluto, I usually see when they arrive, when the moment they arrive, the minutes, they turn a direction, and then until they leave that minutes as a whole period of stationary. So therefore, Pluto will have a longer station, which is not surprise. So from this view, Pluto considered as a stationary between the 6th of October to the 22nd of October. And that is kind of interesting. First, stationary planet invite us to focus on their theme. Pluto theme is about a hidden message, is about a crisis, about the life and death situation, about the struggle, about the things we don't see, about the taboo of our life, taboo about the society. So very powerful Pluto theme are going to happen between 6th to 22nd of October, especially on Monday, they just turn a direction, and the Mercury move to Scorpio. And on Tuesday, we have a full moon. So altogether would be a little bit too much, I think. So prepare yourself, brace yourself. Okay, if you don't like this, well, stop watching the news. You know what happened, but just be prepared. This is some unpleasant things maybe jump out. This is the first thing. And second thing, we are at Pluto out of a bound period. Pluto is out of bound. Yes, Pluto could out of bound, and that is quite usually because it happen, every so often. So let me show you a graphic. This is my school, we make a website to show the graphic of planetary movement. See if I can show that to you. Okay, so if you can see here, let me move it. Okay, so now you can see the graphic underneath. Okay, a graphic underneath. This is the declination. This is the declination of Pluto. Okay, declination of Pluto. So you can see here is 2025. Okay, 24. And then when you move, you can see here when the Pluto's declination come to end of August 2025. You can see here. Pluto is go beyond this line. Okay, there is a two line here. This line is long declination 23, 26 north, and underneath here is the south of 23, 26, which is the top, the boundary of the sun reach the Capricorn. Tropical Capricorn. So you will see when planet move outside of this boundary we call it out of bound. So here we will see from 2025 to 2030, we will have Pluto continuous out of bound for a while. You can see here is 2026. Okay, then you will have very, very clearly 2027 is really out of bound, and 28, 20, 29, 30, it's quite often, it keep happening. So we will have I think if I remember it's 2035, if I will see if I have this data. Yeah, so we will have, let me upgrade data, see if I have. So yes, I only have 2030. Okay, so you will see at this moment we have the Pluto is out of bound very, very so often. Okay, so this suggests Pluto is a little bit, out of control, go a little bit crazy at this moment until the end of November. So very heavy Pluto theme about Pluto is out of bound, Pluto square the Mercury, and Pluto stationary around this moment. That's therefore I will remind everyone. Today I was chatting with a friend, and he was like, when he looked at the news, he really couldn't cope it. I would say, okay, focus on your own personal mental health first. So if you couldn't cope those message, stop reading it. Okay, so stop the doom scrolling, because I have that kind of potential, because I used to do the journalist things when some disaster happened or something scary happened. I usually just try to collect more information, and I thought was my job. No, it's just a personal issue that you really trying to collect all that kind of information and freak yourself out. So during this time, look up to yourself and ask yourself why you want to focus on that. Pluto, dig something out. If you are interested in something, if you are freaked out by something, if you are triggered by something, during this moment, Mercury square Pluto, Pluto out of bound, Pluto stationary. It is a very, very good time to do personal work, especially psychological work. So we can do a little bit of revision, regression, or investigation to dig out those what happened before, what kind of event or what kind of memory block our action or make us feel like scared or make us feel like, trigger our emotion. So we can ask ourselves, and this is the best time to be honest, because Pluto reveal the truth. So dig things out. So we can, ask ourselves why we have this kind of feeling. It's not only because we are frightening, but it is a very interesting time that Pluto station direct and out of bound. So it is a very good time for us to do a little bit of work in this way. So well, basically this is what I want to share. So but I just talk quite a lot, but be aware about this. It's not just always news, always bad news, but we can apply it into our life to dig something out, to use it, and face the reality and face the truth. Sometimes can make us stronger, isn't it? So this is what I want to share. And don't forget, Academy of Astrology, we are going to have online conference from the 5th of December to the 7th of December, and the pre-launch price is £60. Very good price. We have Sultan Kings, Ling Bell, Hakan going to join us, and then Marcus Patchett, Mandy Leclerc, Liam McCarthy, Geraldine Marr, and then Safon Daniel, all join us to, share some of their knowledge. We have the track is focused on the forecasting technique. Some people call it prediction technique, and it's really beginner friendly. And another track we together is talking about the mundane astrology between 2026 and beyond. Okay, so thanks for watching, and thanks for what do you think about the Pluto stationary and Pluto out of bound. And keep an eye on next week's news. Okay, and don't be afraid. Okay, see you. Bye bye.